Let's roll, baby. Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is doing good. We're continuing down the fantasy football trend. Too much risk wide receivers, and I got 3 on my board that I do love the talent. You got to understand it's not a hatred on any of these players. It's based on the value to where you're drafting them to what your returns are going to be, because we got to hoist those trophies. I'm all about winning fantasy, not just rebuilding fantasy, man. My trophy case is stacked with them, and we got to get you guys in the know. First one is Calvin Ridley. Again, I love the ability of Calvin Ridley. Right now, it's a little bit too much risk for me because of where we need to draft him, because of team situation. There's a lot of unknowns. I mean, let's be real about this. I've always been a Calvin Ridley supporter. Now he takes his talents to these Tennessee Titans. After something of an up and down season with these Jacksonville Jaguars, he was fairly successful, but then he took his talents to Tennessee to go play with guys like DeAndre Hopkins, Burks, Boyd, now playing all with a Will Levis. I mean, I get it. These are new issues that we got to discuss on what he could potentially do this season. While he did have a good campaign last year overall, the boom rate definitely was on the lower end of a 50% clip, and I did not like that with a Trevor Lawrence. Now you got to say you're downgrading to some senses with a Will Levis. The jury's still out on Will. We know this. You guys understand I had Will as a potential upside flyer on a couple shows back as well, because the potential is absolutely here for what this man could potentially be in the NFL. Cannon of an arm, releases super quick, Dan Marino style. But there's so many mouths to feed, and this offense isn't necessarily ready to take that leap here this season, okay? Can Will Levis uplift all of these wide receivers with high levels of target share? How can we believe consistency is going to be better than what it was last year in Jacksonville for a Calvin Ridley with a Trevor Lawrence, now with even more mouths to feed and a Will Levis still trying to learn on the fly? Risk to reward is far too great to grab here, because his ADP right now is wide receiver 34. Yes, it does seem lower down the trend, and you're saying, well, he's going to be my wide receiver 3 or 4 anyway, so what's the risk? I'll tell you what the risk is, man. You got Scary Terry McLaurin at 31, Keenan at 32, Chris Godwin at 33, Deontay 35, and then Rashee Rice at 36. The only reason Rashee Rice is at 36 because we still don't know if he's going to be suspended for his off-field altercation in the driving drag race. This is a problem. So I understand fading Rashee Rice down the ADP trends, but putting Calvin Ridley here at 34 in the likes of a Terry, Allen, Godwin, give me all 3 of those gentlemen ahead of it. Yes, okay. Keenan Allen playing with a rookie passer like a Caleb Williams. We've seen what Keenan Allen can do with a rookie passer named Justin Herbert, and he still put up very high levels of numbers. Keenan Allen is that dog, man. At 32, absolutely disrespectful for Keenan Allen. Scary Terry McLaurin now with a quarterback who can absolutely get him the football on high levels of consistency in a Jaden Daniels. We will see if that comes to pass. But I get it. Rookie passers, they will have growing pains. Why not go with the surer thing in a Chris Godwin with a Baker Mayfield? This is a possibility as well. So I do like these 3 above a Calvin Ridley. Abso-freaking-lutely. Deontay Johnson, potentially with, PPR upside with a Bryce Young. I think I would lean towards a Calvin Ridley, maybe a little bit more. But again, your risk-reward tolerance here at ADP 34 wide receiver, it still is sketchy, man, and you're trying to round out. How many games can we really say if he boomed only 50% last year? How many booms do we see a Calvin Ridley getting? They're going to have to uplift a Will Levis rather than Will Levis uplifting what these Tennessee Titans are going to do in the pass game. So right now, for me, 191 points, I don't foresee coming this year from a Calvin Ridley. We should see a haircut of 11.3 on the average. It should go down, man. And it's a really, it sucks to say, but Calvin Ridley is one of my guys. I love his game, but in this Tennessee Titans offense, without a Derrick Henry, how will they move? It's going to be different, let's just say that. And I don't know if Calvin Ridley can be supported with this pass game with a Will Levis, so it is far too much risk for me. Next one, Courtland Sutton. Okay, I've never necessarily been one of the biggest Courtland Sutton supporters, but at least he does always produce. We know this. Last year, heavy garbage time upside. And we've seen his name floated around with potential trade opportunity and appeal this offseason. The Broncos, however, this team's in flux moving forward with this retooling, rebuild, whatever you want to call it. I mean, QB issues, man. Bo Nix, Zach Wilson, Jarrett Stidham. Who's going to be the quarterback this year? Yes, there's upside with this rookie quarterback, Bo Nix. I know a lot of y'all like him. I got question marks, man. Zach Wilson, I think we know he is what he is, and Jarrett Stidham is a good, reliable backup quarterback. How is this going to promote high-end productivity for a Courtland Sutton? Yes, they got rid of a Jerry Jeudy, but added a Troy Franklin to aid in some speed abilities. But we know that Courtland Sutton's going to see double teams all day long, and it, again, is going to have to live and die by the garbage time point productivity this season, which is highly likely, and this offense could absolutely be much worse than what we saw last year with Russell Wilson, and that's not saying a whole heck of a lot. I'm not even kidding. With that said, again, garbage time is going to be the only MO that we can promote for this Denver Broncos offense, where Courtland Sutton, we've seen even last year where he was faded till the end of the fourth quarter. It's too much risk, man. They're going to be playing from behind a lot, and either way, I mean, I like the sure things over somebody that I got to wait for. He did boom at 56% rate, up higher than Calvin Ridley, mind you, 160 points. I mean, it was on the lower end of the booms where he did finish as the wide receiver 35 ADP right now at 43, I think is reasonable. But where you're talking other guys, you can get Christian Watson at 40, Jackson Smith-Njigba 41, Addison, my dude, Addy at 42, Worthy at 44, and then Ladd McConkey at 45. So you see, Sutton is being sprinkled in with all these youthful, talented wide receivers who also have their own issues at hand of not only target share and potential health and quarterback rotating rooms. So which one are you willing to take? The savvy veteran who you know is going to be, promotive late in contests, or the ones with higher upside and speedy ability? I'm going with the speed and ability of the youth over somebody like a Courtland Sutton. Xavier Worthy might be the best one in this crop here, based on the fact that he plays with a Patrick Mahomes boy, so you know he's going to get targets with that speed. Ladd McConkey as well could be heavy PPR guy. Addison would absolutely be way up the ADP board if it wasn't for a Sam Darnold or JJ McCarthy, because we don't know who's going to be the starting quarterback, and my dude Christian Watson, if he can stay on the field, is going to be absolutely lights out. So for me, way too much risk for a Courtland Sutton this year. Absolutely don't want no part of it on my team. No question. Last one we got is T. Higgins. Okay, I threw up in my mouth when I did this, and I'm not even kidding. I love T. Higgins. I think that he is an alpha in this league. I think that he can be, a true wide receiver one on any other club. I get it. We saw one season prior to a Jamar Chase, and I believe he only cracked the 1,000 yards. Injuries have been a big problem for T. Higgins. It's been massively an issue. And I mean, okay, I've always been on the side of a T. Higgins. I mean, playing under the franchise tag, he wants his bag, and will he get it from these Bengals? I highly doubt it, especially with the room that they're trying to build here with guys like Andre Joseph, Burton and company. I think there is ample opportunity for this being one of the last seasons for a T. Higgins. We've seen way too much time in the medical room as well in his young career. He is only 25 years of age, and he has missed a boatload of contests. Also, adding to that, we got, Macaulay Culkin, Joey B, with that blondie hairdo. He's recovering from the wrist and thumb injury. So far, so good. No worse for wear. But we've heard, a lot of rumors suggesting he may not be the same on that thumb ever again, which could, change the way he does throw the football. That's to be seen. I'm not saying that's, anything to be concerned about yet, but it is something to, at least keep your eyes on. Value to return on investment based on trust here for T. Higgins. Boom rates is what does win you championships, and he was only 33.3% last year. Yes, he was dealing with a lot of injuries, but he just has not been fitting the bill lately, which is a concern, man. 116 points last year, 9.7, wide receiver 49. Did not do what we needed in a bad way. He was killing our team. A lot of y'all, I remember, even dropped T. Higgins at some point because he just wasn't doing it for us. I wouldn't go that far. I think that there is a resurrection coming. He is going to be playing on the franchise tag. He is looking for a long-term contract, but you understand why they tagged him and didn't offer up the big dollars, because of all the injuries. Now when you look at who's ranked ahead of him or in between him, Stephon Diggs at 25. I like Stephon Diggs in Houston, and I think it's going to pay extreme dividends. He's on the latter stages of his career, teaching the youngsters like a Nico, like a Tank Dell, pulling coverage from each other's side. Diggs is going to have a good year. Is it going to be, Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen year? Maybe not, but 1,000 yards and 8 TDs? Absolutely coming for Stephon Diggs. George Pickens did a show on him earlier this week. I'm all in, man. I'm taking George without even blinking this season if he falls into my lap. Zay Flowers with Lamar Jackson showcase the fact that they are absolutely going to utilize Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, and hopefully go with King Henry in this run game. There's going to be lots of upside for a Zay. Tank Dell coming off the leg injury, fractured leg. He's going to have to be fighting for target share with Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins. We can maybe say that's a little bit more in the category for a T. Higgins at this point with a Tank Dell because of, lack of target share. But, he's going to see far lesser coverage. So, efficiency is going to go up. And then Christian Kirk going to be likely the number one target once again for a Trevor Lawrence outside of an Evan Ingram. So there is a lot of arguments you can be had here from 25 to 30 where T. Higgins is sitting at wide receiver 27 with a boom rate of 33. It does not look good, man. I'm telling y'all. And Jamar Chase is the dog in Cincinnati. So it is a problem for me where I'm fading these guys based on where they sit. If they drop further down the board during our drafts, absolutely I'll entertain taking it. But where they sit today, yes, it's lower on the ADP trend, but I can't do it with the other guys that are staring at me in the face saying, pick me, I'm going to give you lots of points, and I think I'm going to tend to go in that direction. But there you have it. That is way too much risk on these wide receivers. What are y'all saying about this? Throw it in the comments. You guys in on any of these three wideouts? You out on them? Put in the comments. We could definitely have a conversation about it, but we'll see you next time. I am out.